All right, look, guys, what's the problem here? I've had a long day. I don't see anything wrong with it at all. It looks fine. Jesus Christ, what was that? The roof tiles are falling. All right, well, maybe it could use a lick of paint. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas. Today it's my home Grand Prix. We're in Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix, and after a stunning result for K-Mag last time out in Saudi Arabia, I think we have high hopes for this one. So let's hope we can have a maybe a double points finish, but another P4 would be very nice for K-Mag, wouldn't it? Now, as we can see, we do have some development point there to add to K-Mag, but before that, we've got to go to the inbox because we have had some developments. The first one here, there's been a regulation change, so we've had to vote on that. The options we had were for option A, which is what we voted for, which is a cooling focus change, or option B was an airflow focused change. Now, given that our cooling is not great anyway, as I've said before, I'd rather lose 30% of something that's crap rather than 30% of something that's good, because it's going to bring people that are better than us. They're actually going to lose out more than we do. I think that logic is sound. So that's what we voted for. We haven't got the results as of yet, but I will definitely let you know what happens when it comes around. And the other thing, as we have seen, is the wind tunnel was in poor condition, so we've had to upgrade that. £12 million. That's put a dent in the old finances, but it will, obviously, once we upgrade to the next level, it'll help. You know, it'll help with car development. So it's not a bad thing. It's just a little bit of a cost straight up there. But we'll get to that. Now, if we have a look at the car, we have got. Now, you may remember we were building suspension pieces. Now we have got. We've got 3 of the new ones ready to go. So we've put the new ones onto Sargeant's car. K-Mag will have the old suspension pieces, and we'll just kind of see. It's not a massive difference. You can see brake cooling, it's what, 3% or so, a little bit off high speed as well, high speed cornering. What I don't want to do is have them on both cars, someone crashes, or both cars crash or whatever, then we don't have we've got a sort of emergency build and things like that. So there's nothing wrong with the old suspension pieces. We'll let Sargeant get first crack at it, though, given that he is the driver that ultimately we want to win the World Championship. If we do go and have a look at our drivers, we can see we do have a development point for K-Mag. That will be going into car control because, well, we saw even in where were we, Saudi Arabia, with the massive result he got, he's still locked up. So we'll add that in there. Does Frederick? He does not have a point to add as of yet. I haven't checked staff. Do we have anything to add? We do. Simone Resta has a point. We'll put that into side pods, I think. We'll do chassis next time. Anybody else here? Head of Aero has a development point. That is very nice. So that can go into DRS Delta. So that'll gives everything up to a minimum of 76, and our race engineers do not have any development points to add. And the facilities, just again a quick update on where the wind tunnel is. You can see there it's going to be level 3 in 71 days time, so that is definitely going to help us. So all good news. Let's go and have a look at what we need to do here in the race. So Melbourne, we are expecting a dry weekend. We've got the circuit map there for qualifying: red sector 1, blue sector 2, and yellow sector 3. We can see there it is a relatively high-speed circuit, so that is similar-ish, I guess, in that sense to Jeddah. A couple of low-speed traction zones, but hopefully similar attributes, so the car will be required and we'll get a similar result. We can see all the time losses there as well. And expected strategies, it's expected to be a one-stop. And there is the compound performance. And in last year's race, K-Mag came in P7 for us. So that's what we did last year. You'd hope we could do a little bit better than that this year. And Mick Schumacher a lap down in P15. And we start to see there why he is no longer with us, I think. So let's go and have a look at our performance targets here. Reach Q3. If we're reaching Q3, you'd like to think we can reach Q2. And 12th, that's reaching Q3, isn't it? So we'll guarantee those. Let's have a look here. Finishing position of 12th. Fastest lap, I'm not going to guarantee that because that can be just so... you know, someone comes in at the with soft tires at the end and can nick that, so we're not going to guarantee that. We need someone in the top 14 to get ourselves 1.3 million. Thank you very much. And oh no, that's potential, that's both, so that's 500,000. And qualifying, if we get someone in the top 14, we'll need one more to get our 800 grand. So 1.3 million could be coming our way in the next 2 races if everything goes to plan. So that being said, let's head off to Melbourne and see if we can get a good result again. All right, so there we go. Confirmation of a cloudy but dry weekend. So I'm going to do some free practice, and I will see you for qualifying. Okay, so free practice is done. Let's have a look at how we did. FP1, Sargeant was up there in 8th, which is very nice. We gave Kalen Frederick another run. He was down there in 19th. Only got a time in on the hard tyre, so that maybe explains it a little bit. But certainly not as impressive, perhaps, as he was last time out in Saudi Arabia. FP2, K-Mag came in, put it at P3. Sargeant there in 9th. Very nice inside the top 10 again. FP3, Sargeant in 7th, which is brilliant. Not sure what happened to K-Mag. He's down there in 14th, didn't get a time or a good time in on his soft tyres, so yeah, not really sure what happened, but the fact he's only on a medium and 14th is probably not a terrible thing. So anyway, that's how that went. Let's have a look at what we're doing here for qualifying. We can see both cars 97% setup confidence, which should be fine. As ever, we'll only come back in qualifying 1 if there's a risk of us not getting out. Both cars have shown they're comfortably inside the top 10, so I'm hoping we'll get through with 1 run and save a set of tyres for later in the weekend. So not really in any danger, but very, very disappointing, I've got to say. 11th and 13th. We had to do a second run just to be 100% sure in case the track was ramping up. But yeah, there we go. We're through only just really with Sargeant in the end. But yeah, I mean, we were never not getting through, if that makes sense. All right, let's go and have a look at Q2 now. Okay, so we are coming around. We're with Sargeant, who is currently P11, Magnussen P10. I'd be lying if I said I'm not disappointed by this. I thought we'd be a little bit more competitive here. Verstappen is currently behind us as well, so unless we go faster, we are looking very much as we might have a double Q2 elimination. So yeah, Verstappen is definitely going to go faster. I suspect he may have been trying to do a lap on the medium tyre. Sargeant's done a green first sector. Magnussen has also done a green. It's greens all across the board, really, isn't it? So, well, we are going to be 11th and 12th once Verstappen crosses the line, and it's can we pull ourselves out of this now? It's Hamilton and Russell in front of us. We are the last 2 cars on track, and let's see as we come across to cross the line. Can Sargeant move himself up from 15th? Jesus Christ, Logan, come on, mate. He has gone 11th, which means Magnussen will go. Come on, K-Mag. Oh, it is double elimination. Well, that didn't go to plan, did it? 11th and 12th for the race. And how much did we miss out by? I mean, we were quite comfortably out, really, weren't we? Sargeant very close to Magnussen, which is promising. He does, of course, have the new suspension pieces. You wonder if we put them on K-Mag's car, he would have been a little bit further up. So, no way around it. That's disappointing qualifying. So, what do we do in the race now? I mean, it's a one-stop, isn't it? There's no point not really doing a once, although it is very marginal one stop. I think we do it, and if we get the opportunity at some point to change tyres earlier and then come in at the end for a soft, I think if there's any sort of safety car, then I think we come in. This is going to be very marginal at the end, though, isn't it? I wonder, I very much wonder if what we should be doing is we're going to have to save tyres at some point, aren't we? So at some point we're going to have to save tyres, and then if we get to a situation, like I say, where there is a safety car, then perhaps we can look to... There's a big part of me that wants to put a soft tyre on at the end. We're going to leave that optional. This is a floating one-stop. It's so marginal that I just wonder if we actually push the tyres. Let's go aggressive with K-Mag, maybe. I'm just thinking if we actually push the tyres, then perhaps. So we'll get the soft tyres to go to the end. The problem is that the soft tyres don't really have much life on them. But let's try it anyway. Let's go aggressive here. And yeah, maybe Logan... No, we'll switch it. Yeah, so we'll go really aggressive with Logan Sargeant. K-Mag, who has shown that he can race with the big boys, you know, on level playing field. We'll let him do the one stop, and we'll really have a go with Logan Sargeant and see if we can yeah, we'll see if we can get a double points finish with the aggressive strategy. A safety car will really help Sargeant out. A safety car will probably mean that Magnussen switches to his strategy, so maybe it won't help Sargeant out that much after all. Okay, welcome back. Here we go. It's an all Red Bull front row. we'll see what happens here with the strategy, won't we? There's no point asking you what we think, because you're going to know what happens with the strategy once we once we get to the end of the race here. But K-Mag looks like he may have taken a position already. No, oh, you can see in front there, he's got the Alpine. We are burning up the ERS early on here, as we always do. Just try and get up as far as we can in the early days when the cars are all bunched up. We'll jump on board with K-Mag here, perhaps. And Sargeant gets Norris, but I think Norris had already ducked past him. So it's 10th and 12th so far. Hamilton in 6th, so no doubt at some point Magnussen's going to find himself stuck behind him. And the new long back straight here at Albert Park. Can we get a nose down the inside of this AlphaTauri here? It's Gasly and Russell that are in front of us here. Nothing doing there. And oh no, not quite. If we jump back on board with Sargeant, we can kind of keep an eye on K-Mag just ahead of us there as well. And it doesn't look as though there's much else going to be happening here, does there? So let's save the ERS. DRS will be activated soon, and then we'll see where we stand after that. But Sargeant really needs to be making up positions here, because he's, well, we know he's stopping twice. Alright, so slightly worryingly here, we've dropped off the back of the points battle. K-Mag is, well, he's gonna have to just let Sargeant go here, because he's on a different strategy to him. And I'm not really sure what happened. We were running with the top 10 there, and then K-Mag just kind of dropped off and kept Sargeant behind him. So that's, yeah, not ideal. Alright, so we do have some early stoppers here, so there might be quite a few people looking to do a 2-stop. So that might actually play back into K-Mag's hands here. And, well, potentially Sargeant's as well, if he's going to be on fresher tyres towards the end. So 7th and 8th right now. This could be an interesting strategy race as we enter the pit window for Logan Sargeant, but we'll leave him out a little bit longer yet. Alright, so Sargeant is coming in for his pit stop. Let's see if it's a good one. Hopefully it will be. 3.1, that's not too bad. He comes out ahead of Ricciardo in 14th. Is he going to stay ahead of Ricciardo? It looks like he is, so he's going to have DRS. So, not the worst situation for Sargeant to be in. K-Mag has got a little bit of a train behind him there in 6th. But of course, he still has a little while to go before he makes his one and only stop here.
Oh, and Ferrari just gained a place.
Okay, so K-Mag is coming into the pits. He has a 3.1 second stop as well. Comes out 15th, but that's it. He's done now. No more stops for him to make. So, yeah, it's just a matter now of waiting for everybody else to stop and see. We've got a yellow flag. A safety car now would be fantastic for K-Mag, not so much for Sargeant, although it would bank everybody up. It would be a question of whether he would try and get to the end or bring on the soft tyres. But anyway, 13th and 15th right now. Alright, so we have guys coming in now for their second stops. We have Magnussen 12th, Sargeant 13th. It's not looking as though the race is going to go Sargeant's way unless we get a late safety car here, if I'm honest. Magnussen, though, could he pull something out? I mean, Norris is in 10th and stopped a little while ago now. We're stuck behind another Mercedes with K-Mag because, of course, we are. And Sargeant just needs to be a little bit careful here. He needs to get those soft tyres to the end. So, yeah, he might be struggling. K-Mag, though, moves into the points. He's still got George Russell behind him. So that's something, but some of that is going to be pit stops as well. I just don't think it's going to quite work for Sargeant. He's just losing too much time here. Anyway, safety car would make it very, very interesting to the end. Alright, so Sargeant is coming in. He is going to drop right to the back. He's not a lap down, which is something, but yeah, unless it goes very right for him from here, it's not going to happen. We've got a little bit of petrol to burn that we've been saving, so we'll do that on both cars now. But yeah, K-Mag in the battle for 9th. But unlikely. It looks like Vettel may have had a spin there. I think I saw him slowing up. Yeah, turn 15. So it's a DRS train behind Norris. And we're sort of fighting for 2 points here, which, like I say, is just horribly disappointing. I really did think we'd be on for a good result here. But again, poor qualifying. And I don't know if it's the Red Bull engine. Maybe it's not quite as what we were hoping for, but we just don't seem to be able to get overtakes done. So that is hurting us. We'll go and jump on board here with K-Mag for these last few laps here as we look to battle in for some points. Was it 5 or 6 laps to go here? We'll just back off a little bit of the petrol there. He's looking good to get to the end on the tyres. We need to overtake one of these two in front, either Norris or Ocon, in the last 6 laps. Looks as though Sargeant is going to get his soft tyres to the end. And we've just lost another position there now to Russell. It's just, yeah, just not quite working, this one, is it?
Mercedes moved up a place.
Like I say, you do wonder a little bit if we put the suspension on K-Mag. As it turns out, you know, no one's crashed this weekend yet. I do stress yet. So we could have possibly put the suspension pieces on both cars. But, you know, if I'd done it, they both would have crashed, wouldn't they? And we would have. So, yeah. We'll have to have a look at exactly why it is. Like, what it is about this track. And, I mean, this is looking a lot more like the Bahrain race, really, isn't it? So we do have a new underfloor that is in design. So once that's done, we'll manufacture that as fast as we can. The wind tunnel has set us back quite a bit financially. So whether we're going to be able to rush anything through is going to be debatable. But we look as though we're even falling back from these guys. What sort of tyre condition are we looking at here? So Norris is 40 on a medium, so he's going to struggle. The other two, though, should be fine. And we are just falling back and back a little bit more here now, aren't we? Sargeant 2 seconds behind Albon, and Ricciardo's not far ahead of him, but it's not really, you know, 13th or 15th. It doesn't really matter, does it? So Norris is indeed struggling. We need to get him quickly, but I don't think it's going to matter because Ocon and Russell have disappeared up the road here. So if we can get the overtake done nice and quickly, we'll go to aggressive. Because ultimately we don't have anything to lose, do we? Like I said, if we come 11th or 12th, it doesn't particularly matter. What we want to do is let's try and nick a point here if we can, but that just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Which is obviously disappointing.
That's a new race position for Haas.
We've got 2.8 seconds to make up, and they're just on better tyres, these two in front, so, you know, it's not much we can do, really. Sargeant, what's he doing? Well, he's not really catching anybody either, is he? So I've got to my home Grand Prix, and I've just disappointed everybody. Kind of what this feels like, if I'm honest. Magnussen and Norris, I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? If he's 10th or 11th. Low fuel range as well. That'll be just what we need. They run out of petrol just to add a little bit of salt into the wound, but they should be fine. So here we go. K-Mag about to come across and finish 12th. I mean, I don't really know what we could have done because is he going to get him on the line? Doesn't matter if he does or he doesn't, really, but he doesn't. The one stop didn't work with Sargeant, and the one stop didn't work with K-Mag, and the two stop didn't really work with Sargeant. So maybe if we'd switched it around, done them the other way around, it might have helped. But K-Mag 2 stop and Sargeant 1 stop. But ultimately, I just don't think We were quite quick enough there, and that's really disappointing. So there we go. K-Mag down 1 finishes 12th, and Sargeant down 3 finishes 15th. And it's a bit of a head scratcher. It really is. So there's the championship standings. K-Mag down 2. Sargeant stays where he is. And the constructors, well, we've lost touch with Alfa Romeo after that one, haven't we? That is just a horribly disappointing day at the racetrack. Do we have any sort of points? So we do. Sargeant gets a development point. Magnussen does not. Frederick, he does. All right, there we go. So that's something at least. But guys, if you've enjoyed that, I suppose some of you have, make sure you hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. The underfloor is coming, so let's hope that, yeah, we put the new suspension piece on Magnussen's car as well. And maybe, I think it's Imola next, isn't it, in San Marino, or the Emiliano Romero, whatever it is. Hopefully we do better there. Take care.